Discipline doesn't change your life. It changes your tolerance. And once that shifts, nothing fits the same again. At first, it looks harmless. You wake up earlier. You waste less time. You say no more often. It feels controlled. It feels productive. But that's not the change. The change comes quietly. The life you used to live starts feeling unfamiliar. Not wrong, just smaller. Conversations feel repetitive. Jokes stop landing. Moments that once distracted you no longer work. And you don't know why. It's not that people changed. It's that your tolerance did. Discipline sharpens perception. You stop reacting. You start noticing. Patterns in wasted time. Patterns in avoided responsibility. Patterns in how comfort is protected at all costs. And once you see those patterns clearly, you don't unsee them. That's where the problem begins. Because discipline doesn't isolate you instantly. It isolates you gradually. People don't disappear. They fade. Messages shorten. Invitations slow down. You're quietly removed from things you no longer fit into. Not because you're better, but because you're no longer available for everything. And availability is what most relationships are built on. Here's the part most people avoid admitting. Discipline makes you incompatible with your old environment. Not superior, not special, just incompatible. Your standards rise, not just for work, but for time, for attention, for what you tolerate. You stop calling chaos freedom. You stop calling avoidance balance. You stop calling distraction happiness. And people feel that. They say, "You've changed. You're too serious. You don't enjoy life anymore." What they really mean is, "You no longer make it easy for me to stay comfortable." And that's when the temptation appears. The temptation to go back to noise, back to being liked, back to belonging without effort. Because discipline doesn't just demand action, it demands separation. And separation is uncomfortable, not because you're alone, but because there's no one to hide behind. No crowd, no shared excuses, no familiar distractions. Just you and the standards you chose. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They don't quit dramatically. They soften. They call it a break. They call it balance. They call it resetting. But what they're really doing is trying to fit back into a life they already outgrew. And it never works. Because once discipline changes you, going back feels heavier than moving forward. You see the wasted time, the shallow routines, the comfort disguised as peace. And that's why discipline feels dangerous to people. Not because it's painful, but because it's irreversible. You can stop being disciplined. You can quit training, quit planning, quit pushing, but you can't unlearn what you've already seen. Awareness stays, and awareness doesn't let you rest easily. So if you feel like you don't fit anymore, that's not confusion. That's the cost. Discipline didn't promise comfort. It promised clarity. And clarity always removes something first.